Hey there, viewer. Ron speaking, and yeah, it's been 8 months, hasn't it? Um, the main reason I haven't been uploading is because of getting a job and with college and just real life coming in, so I can't really post videos as much as I would like to, or animations rather. But in the meantime, I've gotten even more DVDs. I don't have a problem, I swear. So I mentioned getting a job, and with that job, I've been able to fund my DVD addiction. Okay, I wouldn't call it an addiction, but I've definitely gone way more than I had last year. I thought of every year just kind of updating you guys on what DVDs I've gotten, although depending on how big the collection gets, I might have to stop that after a while. Or yes, that's a Crash Bandicoot poster. Anyway, I'm just gonna go through each segment here. As you can see, I got Disney, Warner Brothers, DreamWorks, Nickelodeon, Universal, 20th Century Fox, and this is just miscellaneous stuff I don't have enough to categorize. So, yeah, let's get through it. Alright, first up to bat is everyone's favorite company to crap on these days, Disney. It is just, after all the controversy they've gotten into in the past couple years and all the stuff that's happened this year, not just with Disney, but with Hollywood as a whole, it's just depressing. But that doesn't change the fact that they were a big part of my childhood, at least their movies were. So I should probably, this. I got this on Amazon and it came in, and I think it's the ugliest DVD I've gotten. So this is definitely, I knew it was used, but it said good. And I guess this is good. It's got, I don't know what this is for. And then part of the covers, I might have to rebuy a different Hercules DVD just because this looks so awful. But, the movie's still good. And I haven't popped the disc in yet, but I'm sure it still works. These. So these were part of the Disney 100th anniversary collection. Not this one, just all these ones here. And they did come with the little pins, but I wasn't going to use them, so I just ended up giving them to my sister. I don't know what she ended up doing with them, but yeah, Sleeping Beauty, which I had not seen until buying this, and yeah, good movie. And then all these ones I have seen. So I've pretty much seen most, if not all of these movies that you see here prior to buying them, except for Atlantis here. I had not seen this before buying it. And yeah, also a very good movie. Real shame this didn't take off like everything else. And this movie, Home on the Range, which I heard a lot of people hate. I watched it. I think it's fine, but I can definitely understand why people wouldn't like it. My favorite part was that yodeling bit. It's such an earworm for me. I don't know why. Boy Meets World. I'm trying to branch out a little bit. Most of my childhood was spent on animated stuff, but there's a lot of good live action stuff that I missed out on because Little Me was like cartoons only. If it's live action, it's garbage. So I picked this up and I put it with Disney because it's ABC and they were always owned by Disney. So yeah, haven't watched much of it yet, but I'm enjoying it fine enough. Yeah, I've pretty much seen all of these movies, so there's not much for me to talk about with them. This is a good one. Gravity Falls, one of the few Disney Channel shows I did watch when I was younger. I was like, it was 2012, so I was like 8 years old when it first came out. And I watched it on and off, but I didn't really follow it, so I pretty much watched all of it after it ended and really enjoyed it. Although I did not come up with any sort of theories or anything for it because I thought that'd be a waste of my time. I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent, but fan theories and headcanons and such, I never delve in them because I personally think they're kind of stupid because nothing I say is going to affect the show. It's probably not going to end up being right, or nothing I say is going to end up being what happens, so why bother getting so hung up over my headcanon not being canon? But to each their own, I guess. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I said that last time, but if you're wondering what my favorite Disney movie is, it's definitely Mulan. Yeah, that's it for Disney. Next up, we got Warner Brothers, which I've gotten a lot more of lately. Actually, now looking at it, not really a lot more. So finally got around to getting some Looney Tunes DVDs, as you can see here. Sorry, I'm just filming this on my bed, because I don't think my floor has enough room here. And as a kid, I didn't really watch most of these. I liked Looney Tunes, but to me it seemed very safe and calm, at least the ones that were airing on Boomerang. But then watching some of the older ones, like the older ones, some of the stuff they would do. So that's why I picked these up. So like maybe young me should have watched some of these. Maybe I would have liked it more. This one is interesting the way it's set up. It's this cardboard one. A little off-putting at first, but whatever. I got this off of Amazon. I got these two off of Amazon, and this one out of Barnes & Noble. Tom and Jerry, I've talked about that before. Tex Avery. I still need to get the third volume here, but these were great. These are awesome. I didn't watch much of these either, because most of them didn't air on Boomerang in my time, but they're some of the funniest old shorts I have ever watched. And honestly, they seem a little bit ahead of their time with how quick their jokes are and the stuff they would say and such. I don't know. If you haven't watched these, go watch them. They're from the 40s, so they have some outdated stereotypes and such, but who the frick cares anymore? Yeah. Some more Dr. Seuss stuff. This is new. I have not watched this yet. I will eventually, but this is more me trying to broaden my horizons. So classic movies I've never seen. This is one of them. And I still haven't seen it, but I've heard good things about it. Yeah, Two Stupid Dogs. I think I had that last time we showed here. I'm not sure. I had to watch that video again. Cartoon Network. All the same stuff as before, I think. Oh, Corpse Bride. So, I had watched this movie on Netflix and thought it was pretty good, but I think they took it off, so I found this at a thrift store, and what's interesting is that this is in a Blockbuster case. See? Blockbuster. I never actually ended up stopping at Blockbuster. I think they closed down before I was old enough to spend things on my own. But it's cool to have this little piece of home media history, I guess, when you had to rent them instead of just buying them. Regular Show, I think I had that last time as well. These two Lego movies, and these. I remember in the last video about this, I said that Cartoon Network doesn't do a good job at releasing their complete series, and I was complaining that they didn't have one of Ed, Edd n Eddy or Fozzie Home, and then literally like a week later they announced that they were making these. So I felt a little silly, but yeah. Problem is, these kind of suck. This one doesn't have any of the specials or the big picture show on it. And the discs are all pretty samey, and the DVD menus, I remember showing it last time on this Courage the Cowardly Dog one, but they look like they were made in Windows Movie Maker or something like that, where they don't actually make original art, they just stick PNGs and call it a day. And this Foster's one, I had heard multiple complaints about this. It's not connected to the case, it's just, I don't know what you'd call this, like, holder part. Oh, shoot, I think I broke it. Yeah, that doesn't look good. But, yeah, it's not connected to I gotta fix this now. Did I get it? Oh, I'll worry about it later. Yeah, that sucks. But it does have actually everything on it. So, that's nice. Yeah, I think that's it for Warner Brothers. Next up is all my DreamWorks DVDs. Yeah, there's not many of them, but, still cool. Where is it? Oh, here. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. I had bought I never got a chance to see it in theaters, but I did buy this almost as soon as it came out, and yeah, one of the coolest movies I've ever watched. But I think it kind of set an unfair standard for DreamWorks movies. So back in 2022, people were just sick of Disney entirely. They hated them. They still hate them, but that's when it all started. So DreamWorks came along releasing this, and so everyone was saying, oh, DreamWorks is beating Disney into the ground. They're the greatest company ever. When, there's one thing you should know about DreamWorks, they're an unpredictable company. You never know if what they're making is going to be good or bad, honestly. Like, this. Back when it came out, no one really thought much of it. But nowadays everyone sees this as an amazing masterpiece, and rightfully so. This movie is great, but nobody expected that. Or, better example, Kung Fu Panda. If you really think about that title, Kung Fu Panda, it sounds completely stupid, but it's one of the greatest movie trilogies ever created. Meanwhile, other movies that showed a bit of promise, like most recently Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken, ended up being a flop, and the movie itself just ended up not being that interesting. So you never know what you're going to get with DreamWorks. But I'm hopeful that they'll pick themselves back up in the future like they've done so many other times before. Next up, we got what was my favorite network to watch when I was a kid, Nickelodeon. For the other company, I didn't have a lot of interesting things to say, but I've got a fair amount to say here. So, this Rugrats DVD, I think, is probably the biggest box set I have, just because the series ran for so long. So, it's got a crap ton of discs in it. They had to be stacked on top of each other. That's how much they were. I haven't popped any of these in yet, but, I will eventually. It's a show I really loved when I was a kid, but only just as an adult. Still find it weird to call myself an adult. I'm not used to being 18 yet, but, yeah. So, yep. I've yet to actually watch anything from this specific box set, but I'll get around to it. Ren and Stimpy, a show I had never seen before buying this, and after watching it, yeah, I'm glad I waited a bit before watching. If I had seen this as a kid, I would have been messed up. This show is, I don't like using modern slang words, but unhinged, I think is the best way to describe it. But what I also find interesting is that Nickelodeon's is not mentioned anywhere here. It's just Paramount. And yeah, no mention Nickelodeon anywhere here. After the Ren and Stimpy adult party cartoon disaster, I guess Nickelodeon pulled their branding from it for a while. So this is just labeled under Paramount. And these actually just the DVDs they released back in the day, the uncut ones. They just repackaged them here. And all the previews for it were for Spike TV and Comedy Central. It was weird seeing a Nickelodeon DVD have a preview for South Park on it. Which, by the way, forget it. Yeah, I know, John K., terrible person, but, separate the art from the artist. Something people only say when the artist is a bad person. Okay, Rocko's Modern Life. This is the most recent DVD I bought off of Amazon. Ever since I figured out how to use Amazon, I've just been using it I mostly use it for stuff I can't find in the store, like most complete series DVDs. I think this is a reissue because there was a different one that had different artwork, but it was far more expensive. This one was $20. Side tangent, anytime people bring up the prices of anime DVDs, this is irrelevant. They're released, for any anime, like My Hero Academia, they release half of a season for, $60. Meanwhile, I can get 3 complete Nicktoons for that amount. 3 whole series for that amount. I don't think import fees are that expensive, but whatever. Oh, this Hey Arnold one. We were on a trip to Ohio. Don't ask. When I went to a Walmart and bought this. And the guy at the counter, we had a little conversation. He said he really enjoyed the show and really wanted Arnold's room. Yeah, apparently every 90s kid wanted his room. And I remember a while back, Teen Nick had this block called The Splat, which they renamed to Nick Splat, which they named to Nick Rewind, which they have just since destroyed, unfortunately. And this is one of the first shows they would always air. So I'm kind of indirectly nostalgic for it, even though I'm not a 90s kid. But I watched it while I was in 5th or 6th grade or 7th grade. I don't know. The main reason younger me was so interested in older shows is because I was watching a ton of Cartoon Urbira channels who were just sucking the 90s balls. That there's no other way I can say it. Everything modern was trash. Everything from the 90s was so good. Suck. That's all he did. But that doesn't mean these shows weren't good. It's just that little me thought that I was stupid for liking modern things, so I wanted to watch older stuff. And now I prefer older cartoons to watching anything new, and my art style for my cartoon shows that I want to make, which I might talk about in the future. I don't know. It's all inspired by older stuff. So I guess you win some, you lose some. I don't know. SpongeBob, a show I was not allowed to watch for the longest time until I was like 14 years old, and now I'm catching up on all the SpongeBob I missed. This is the first 100 episodes. So this pretty much covers SpongeBob's golden era, along with seasons 4 and 5, which back in the day people saw as a downfall. Nowadays see as kind of a silver era. So that's not as good, but still had some gems in it. So, meaning all these older SpongeBob DVDs I don't really need anymore, but I'm keeping them around for historical purposes. I remember buying this because it had... Where is it? Midnight Crustacean. There we go. The Panty Raid one. I bought this because Nickelodeon banned it, but they can't break into your house and take your DVDs. But it's also included on this set too, so... If they steal one, I have the other. You can't get rid of the Panty Raid, Nickelodeon. You can't! Jimmy Neutron. I think I had that last time. Danny Phantom. I've said it before. The first thing I bought on Amazon is my favorite Nicktoon. TMNT 2012. I'm not the biggest fan. When I say that, it's not that I don't like it. I just haven't watched much of it. But my sister was really into this show. Out of all the things I expected her to like, TMNT was not one of them. But yeah, so I picked this up just in case I ever want to get into it. I have not seen the new movie, Mutant Mayhem, but I hear it's very good. So, yep. I might pick up the 2003 one eventually as well. And the rest of it is just miscellaneous DVD. This Invader Zim one. Wrong one. This Invader Zim one. So, I had bought. I'm losing my brain cells. I've not been in college for a long time. This is supposed to be volume 2, but I think the seller gave me the wrong discs. Because it says disc 1 and disc 6. So I don't know if the episodes included... Like the episode listed on the back is the one that this disc actually has. I know they have a complete series DVD for it, but it's Europe only. And I don't know if it works on American DVD players. Also, this was released, but this disc was released by Anime Works, which, unless I'm mistaken, this is not an anime. I don't even know if this was released in Japan. Nickelodeon historically did not do well in Japan. But I guess Nickelodeon themselves didn't want to distribute this one, so they have it here. So I got into the show a while back, like several years back. It was when Enter the Florpus came out, and then I watched that movie, loved it, and then wanted to watch the old show. But with the way people talk about it, you'd think it's some deep intellectual masterpiece or something, and you watch it, and it's stupid. It's the absolute best kind of stupid, but it's stupid. The humor is just complete nonsense. I mean, they're drinking poop cans and making candy out of sawdust, so I don't think there's... Again, it's the absolute best kind of stupid. I'm not saying the show is bad. It's hilarious, but it's not intellectual. I wouldn't say that. Fairly Odd Parents, I am surprised they have not released a complete series set for it yet. They just released those, like, DVD-R stuff for it. But I think this is the most recent Fairly Odd Parents DVD I've got, Channel Chasers. I remember, I would always catch this one while it was airing. I never caught the beginning of it, so that was new to me, the whole Chester and AJ being in the future thing. But, yeah, probably the best thing to come out of Fairly Odd Parents. Seeing the downfall of that show is just really, really depressing for me. Got the Jimmy Neutron movie. This. So, my friends back in high school would always bother me to either watch this movie or would always make fun of me for it because I'm Spanish. I'm not even Mexican, I'm El Salvadorian, but yeah. So, I didn't want to watch it for the longest time just to spite them. But, you know, now that I graduated and they're not bothering me about it anymore, I finally decided to just pick it up and watch it for myself on my own terms. And, yeah, very good movie. Um, I am surprised with the amount of effort they went to. They even actually like went and filmed it in Mexico, which is pretty cool. Yeah, good movie that I finally gave the chance because people weren't breathing down my neck to watch it. And back at the barnyard, I got it at Goodwill. I remember really loving this show as a kid. Just and watching it now is still really funny to me. It's the complete nonsense of it. I've heard some people describe it as basically Family Guy for kids, and yeah, basically, it's Family Guy if it was actually good. I'm not insulting Family Guy fans, but come on, you gotta admit it's not that great. Oh, that was a lot. Let's get to everything else now. Thankfully, these next few won't take very long. This is Universal. As you see, there's not much here, and most of it is taken up by VeggieTales since they now own it. And yeah, I heard about Phil Vischer and Mike Nawrocki getting fired and then replaced in a podcast, and then that podcast was shut down after a month. I think it's best to just let VeggieTales die. It's their 30th anniversary. I think it can finally retire. Plus, I do want to make some sort of drawing for their 30th anniversary. Speaking of that, quick side note. I think I'm gonna stop uploading animations to this channel specifically. As you notice, I renamed it to Ariel Junk because it'll just now be whatever I feel like posting. And I've made a new channel called Ralco Animation. Ralco is a complete nonsense word, where all my animations will be posted there. So, if I ever have time, I'll just make a quick animation and then upload it to that channel. And then this channel will just be dedicated to filming whatever I feel like. But I will still be posting drawings that I make on hand drawn because I just prefer physical than digital. What blasphemy! So those drawings will be posted to this channel, and full animations will be uploaded to the Ralco Animation channel. Once I can figure out how to put that link to that channel on this channel's channel page, I'll show it there. So far, there's only one video on it, and it's just a logo animation, but I hope that you do big things with that channel. But for right now, let's get back to these DVDs. The Back to the Future trilogy. I remember getting this on vacation one day while we were at somewhere. And, these might be my favorite live-action movies. I had never seen these beforehand, but man, watching them for the first time, having not seen much of any of them, it was probably the most excited I've been watching a movie in a while. At home anyway. I'll get to more of that in a minute. But yeah, these movies are great. I think my second one is the second one is my favorite one. But all three of them I really enjoyed. Even the third one, which some people may not enjoy because it's such a deviation. But yeah, these movies are great. I really hope a reboot doesn't come out for this though, because I think it ended perfectly the way it was. But yeah, if I were to say my favorite live action movie, it'd be this. My favorite animated movie is Mulan. But my favorite movie of all time is Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which is both. So, that. E.T., I have not watched this yet, but again, broadening my horizons, watching classic movies I've never seen. So I'll get to that eventually. Same thing with Jurassic Park, Curious George. I remember watching the PBS Kids show on Curious George and really enjoying that, but I had never heard of this until I watched an LS Marka video on it. I'd never heard of this movie, but I really want to watch it just by looking at the animation for it. It looks gorgeous. But, I don't know. I'll get to it, I guess. This is, like, one of the only 2 Illumination DVDs I have. Because, shoot. Despicable Me 1, Despicable Me 2. These are really some of the only Illumination movies I enjoy. I mean, yeah, I genuinely enjoy these 2. The Lorax movie they made, I like it, but I get that it's inferior to the special and the book in every way. Sting, I outright did not like. Hop, I despised. Despicable Me 3, I didn't really like. Minions, I didn't like. Minions, The Rise of Gru, I thought was It's more of Illumination's whateverness. But the one movie of theirs that I absolutely loved, the Mario movie. I did end up seeing this in theaters, which I Movie going is not very common in my family, but I went to see this with my brother, and it was some of the most fun I've had watching a movie in a theater in a really long time. Just catching all the references, I finally got the feeling that Marvel fans feel whenever they see tons of Easter eggs in their movies. I don't know, watching a movie and getting all the references rather than just kind of guessing what that's referencing, if that makes sense. It was fun, and yeah, obviously the story could have been a bit more fleshed out, and I wish some scenes were a little bit longer. I especially wish Luigi was in it more. They did him dirty. But other than that, yeah, really great movie, and I really hope to see more of it in the future. I mean, it made $1 billion, and Nintendo has way more of Mario to use, so it'd be stupid not to make a new one, or a sequel. I think that's it for Universal. I'm rubbing these last two categories together since they're so small. But on this top, we got 20th Century Fox. It has not changed much at all since last time. I think this is the only new movie from there I got. Yes, I know they're owned by Disney, but screw Disney. I'm going to categorize them on their own. And the rest of this is just miscellaneous stuff I can't really categorize. I've seen most of these by now, these Peanuts movies. Out of these ones, I've only seen The Boy Named Charlie Brown, but then we get to the rest of these, all their specials. Obviously, they're classics and relatable and actually showcase children in a more realistic way. Got Indiana Jones. So far, I've only seen the first movie, but I really enjoyed the first movie. But I've heard people saying they watched them when they were kids, and if I had watched this at like age 7 or 8, I would have had nightmares for life, dude. I don't know what your parents are letting you watch. Speaking of stuff, I don't understand why the parents let them watch it. Ace Ventura. I've decided that Jim Carrey is my favorite actor of all time. Just because he's most like a cartoon character and I have a cartoon bias. Whatever. So far, I've only seen the first one of these. I heard the second one, while good, is less good. But yeah, I've heard people say, oh, I love this movie when I was a kid. And I'm watching it and I'm like, really? How did your parents let you watch this? If you've seen the movie, you know the scenes I'm probably talking about. Then we got here Spider-Verse, the first one. I remember watching this when it came on Netflix and loving it despite not really being into Spider-Man. And me and my brother, again, went to see the second one a couple months ago. And yeah, amazing movie. Absolutely amazing. My favorite character in that movie, well, my favorite character in this one was Peter Porker over here, but he wasn't really in this second one. Favorite one in that movie was the Indian guy. He was hilarious. It has a name I can't really pronounce. Hoodwinked, I have never seen this movie, but I'll get around to it. I hear that the animation is god-awful, but the writing more than makes up for it, which I think is great. Like, good writing can save bad animation, bad writing can't save good animation, and all that. The Mask, one of my favorite movies after not seeing it until buying this. But yeah, great, absolutely great movie. I think it's Jim Carrey's best work. And the CGI holds up surprisingly well, purely because it's not supposed to be realistic. It's a Wonderful Life. I bought this around Christmas last year. And I watched it in color. What blasphemy, again. And I like it. But what's interesting to me is that the whole wishing I was never born part doesn't come in until the last 30 minutes of the movie. Whereas I thought it was going to be most of the movie. But, I don't know, I just seen the amount of parodies and retellings of this. And, yeah, always a good message to learn. But I thought it was going to take up more of the movie. But it's from the 40s, so I can't get too mad at it. You know, Ghostbusters, another movie I've not gone around to seeing yet, but I will eventually. And yeah, that's the whole collection. Before we're going to go, I'm going to show you how I've been storing all these. So, my sister bought me these shelves for my DVDs. Thanks, sis. But they obviously can't hold all of my DVDs. They barely hold a third of them. So, I've been having to store the rest of them down here in this little bin I got at a Goodwill because all the bookshelves are either too expensive or just straight up won't fit. But now this is full, so I've been having to store them on top of the shelves. I really got to find a way to store these better, but this is going to have to do for now. So, well, that's it for this video. That's 30 minutes long. I know these videos always go on for a while, and people probably won't stick around for the whole thing, but whatever. Thank you guys for watching. Again, if you want to see actual animations from me from now on, go to Balco Animation. Once I figure out how to link that, I'll put it in the description of this video. And until next time I decide to upload, see you, viewer.